Hey, this is Richard with RC Video Productions, and today we're going to go over the do's and don'ts on how to hire somebody to do your video marketing. Thanks for tuning in. So we're going to go over the do's and don'ts on how to hire a video marketer. So whether you're going to be doing outsourcing to hire somebody to do your video marketing, or whether you're going to be bringing somebody in-house, the rules pretty much apply. What you really want to do is kind of go through a little bit of a checklist like I'm presenting here. And so let's follow along here. So let's jump right in. So the first thing I would say is that what you want is you want a very qualified individual that has all of the experience, not only when it comes to video, but also with marketing, because video is only half of it. And especially when you're outsourcing and you're looking for a company to do the work for you, and you don't have a marketing director, or even if you have a marketing director, the success is dependent on how well the video captures the person's attention when they're watching the video, especially when it comes to social media, because social media is just bombarded with so much these days, and people are just scrolling and scrolling, and they'll scroll right past your video if it doesn't really catch their attention. So you got to have somebody who is completely qualified, who understands and studies, like with my company, all of the ins and outs of video marketing, the strategies, analyzing the statistics when it comes to how people behave when they watch videos, how long they watch videos for, how quickly you've got to catch their attention before they scroll away. These are all key elements that have to be understood. They have to be followed because things change from time to time, especially even just in the course of a year. What the trends are, what catches people's attention, what turns people off. You've got to know all this information, and that's what a qualified video producer does. They assemble all of that, the creativity, the statistical, merge it together to create something that catches your viewers or potential viewers' attention. And those are the things that you will not find when it comes to people that haven't studied marketing. They are approaching it from a creative standpoint. They want to be a filmmaker. They want to get into video. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but that does not equate experience. It does not equate marketing experience. And that's the key right there. Some of the other things that come into play when it comes to video marketing and making sure that the person you hire does a proper job is with using some of the basics that come with producing video. Using appropriate visuals. If you have inappropriate style of video, inappropriate visuals, inappropriate music that doesn't match the demographic of your potential audience, that'll turn your audience away. So be careful of that. Also with music, you know, there's this whole thing of making sure that the music that is utilized is royalty free or is custom written for you so that you own it or no one else owns it. Because if you try and make use of music that you don't own the rights to, especially with YouTube and Facebook these days, they will take your video down. They won't even let anybody see it. So again, if you're not responsible for that and you place that into the responsibility of a video producer that's not experienced with music licensing, music copyrights, all of that comes into play, they can have your video taken down and actually have a strike against your YouTube channel if they don't know what they're doing. So be careful with that. The other side of this is the quality of audio, such as just a person like myself speaking on camera. I see a lot of people doing videos where they just don't understand that the quality of the audio, along with the quality of the video, proper lighting, it all weighs in on the perception of your customer, because in the back of their mind, they're hearing poor audio, seeing poor visuals, and to them that equates a poor product. Because remember, everybody's going to be benchmarking it against the best quality videos out there. And that starts with television, and then it works into the other high quality videos that are on the market. If your video doesn't have decent quality audio, in other words, you don't hear the room echo, you don't hear other background noises, and that is make or break when it comes to a perception of the quality of your marketing message. So here's what you don't want. This is, everything that I just mentioned, in the list before was kind of, what you do want, and then I also, kind of backed it up with what you don't want. But here is really what you don't want. You don't want what we call in the industry is a person with a camera. Basically somebody who has somehow come into money or just bought themselves a decent camera and then decides to call themselves a videographer. You don't want that. Now I see another thing, a trend that's happening in the industry, and both large and small companies, they're using the term intern or student to advertise that they're looking for somebody to do video work for them. And they're using that as a way to skirt paying a decent price to a quality individual or quality company. Now, here's the issue with that. There's nothing wrong with hiring an intern or student, provided that on staff, you have somebody that is the mentor, somebody who has the experience of doing this already. And let's say you have a full-time videographer that is experienced in marketing, experienced with everything that I just listed, and you got more work than that one person can handle. Bringing in an intern or a student is great because then they can delegate work to them, make sure that they understand what's going on. That mentor, that key person on staff is ultimately responsible to make sure that everything is done correctly. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to bring in an intern or student to take over or just basically do all of your video marketing for you without somebody who knows how to guide them, how to mentor them. Because remember, we were all young, we all learned how to do things. And a lot of times, yes, we learned on the job, but there was always somebody there to point out when we made a mistake. And we learned by making mistakes. Now, if you're on a budget, I understand that, yeah, that's one way of thinking of like, I'll hire a student because I can pay them less money. I can afford that. But do you really want to pay that amount of money, no matter what it is? Do you want to pay that money to somebody who is learning by making mistakes, especially when there's no one there to guide them? Now, you may consider yourself, let's say you're a small business, you are the owner of your business, and you also double as the marketing director of your business because there's no one else there to do that job. Still, you are not the video professional. You do not know how to guide them. And everything that I had just listed as far as marketing statistics, social media statistics, the importance of how to understand the customer and address that in a visual. Because that only comes with experience, understanding that you can edit or shoot a video one way and it addresses one market, and you can do it a completely different way and it addresses a different market. Somebody who's very new to this, they don't know that yet. You can't tell them how to know that because they have to experience it. So keep that in mind. One of the issues I've seen that was in an ad recently was just kind of preposterous because it was a company that had advertised looking for a pro videographer entry-level position. How can it be an entry-level position when you're saying that you want somebody who's professional? If they're professional, they're not entry-level. You can't have both ways. So try and remember that when you're, if you're going to be advertising or if you're going to be looking at people that are advertising themselves. Read between the lines. A lot of times people will try and upsell themselves and say that they're more experienced than they actually are. Again, reviewing some of this information will actually help you because you can weed out those that are not really experienced. So in summary, basically you want to make sure that you're hiring somebody that's fully qualified to effectively produce video for your company. You do not want to do what a lot of companies make the mistake in doing by hiring someone who's inexperienced just because of the price. Don't be afraid to talk to companies even though you think that their service is beyond your budget. People like me are out there in the industry. I really don't mind talking to people if they have a very low budget because a lot of times I can arrive at something that it ends up working for them because it just means that instead of maybe doing a grand project that they originally had, we scale it to something that they can afford. But again, when you employ true marketing strategy, you can still take something that is on a smaller scale and make it effective for the benefit of your business. This is Richard with RC Video Productions. Stay tuned, we'll have more videos about video marketing, and we'll see you again soon.